kicking off our Men's Mental Health Week now, encouraging men to try and open up more about their problems that often we keep under wraps.
According to new research, 1 in 5 men would never consider professional help for their mental health, while 1 in 10 don't feel comfortable talking about their feelings at all.
Well, today we're starting with a podcaster and TV personality who you all know from Made in Chelsea, of course, and Strictly. But behind closed doors, Jamie Laing has also faced a series of mental health issues, including a secretive and long-running eating disorder.
Jamie is sharing his story today in the hope of helping other men, and he joins us now. You've written this... Good morning.
Morning.
You've written this brand new book.
Yeah.
And straight away you dive straight in with A for anxiety.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you had no idea that you suffered at all. You thought you were struggling with a heart attack.
Well, yeah, I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
For anyone who's experienced a panic attack, it's well, my experience was heart racing, tingling, thinking I was about to faint. I was like, what's going on? So the only conclusion I had was I was having a heart attack. I was dying. Took myself to hospital, and I saw the doctor, and they said, I said, I'm dying, I'm having a heart attack. He said, no, you're not having a panic attack. Go and have a Coca-Cola, you'll be fine. And I was like, OK, so I left, had a Coca-Cola, I wasn't fine. And that was when I was 22 years old. Never experienced it. It was like a light switch that went off. From that day on, my life sort of changed. And for about 6 to 8 months, I just lived in fear every single day. Never told anyone, never spoke about it. I was doing Made in Chelsea at the time. And I thought, well, people are going to think I'm alien. They're going to think I'm different. I kept saying to my friends, do you ever feel scared? And they said, yeah, when I watch a horror movie, that's when I feel scared. I never, ever spoke about it. I never talked about it because I didn't want to until... And so because of that, I suffered with sort of this crippling anxiety, which led to lots of different things. And when I was about 27 years old, it almost came a bit too much. And I phoned up my friend, one of my best friends in the world, he was best man at my wedding. And I said to him, I phoned up and I said, something's wrong with me. And he went, what do you mean? I said, something's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. And he said, OK, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. I think something's bad. And he said, well, he paused and said, don't worry, we'll go through it together. And what I realised was as soon as I reached out and started speaking about it, I got this amazing echo back. And so the reason I wrote this book is because after I did my ultramarathon runs, which was another story, wow, the response that I got from people was incredible because I ran for everyone who has suffered, who knows someone who's suffered, who has seen someone who suffered. And I realised that when you're in those situations, you have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to keep going. And so that's why I wrote it.
Well, look, I mean, you've been brilliant because that journey you've been on, and you have been talking much more openly about some of the issues that you have faced, Jamie. But one of the things that you've brought up more recently as well, which is something that struck me as a real surprise, because people will be watching you and they go, look, he's a very successful guy, he's on television, he's doing all these things. You've had this eating disorder for a long time, had an issue with bulimia. And that is something that has been quite crippling for you as well. Talk us through that.
Well, look, you know, even now, speaking about it, I feel shame, right? I do, and I think that's the big thing. And, you know, the reason I wrote the book, as I said, because I want to be honest. And at the beginning of the book, I say, well, I'm going to be very honest in this. And I think the issue that we have is that we always say we've got to get over the stigma of mental health. Let's do mental health, let's talk about it, right? What we don't really do is label ourselves that much. So we don't say, I've had anxiety, I've had OCD, I've had an eating disorder, I've had depression, whatever it is, because we're scared to do that. So, and what I did when I was struggling with whatever I was struggling with, I used to Google famous people who had this, or people with a profile, and all these names would come up, and it would go, well, if that person's suffered with that, maybe then there I could be okay. And because, you know, I do some podcasts and I do a bit of TV, maybe there are a few people out there, typically guys, who maybe have seen what I do. And I decided I have to be honest about it. And so, yeah, when I was in my 20s, I was suffering, you know, with such bad anxiety that I tried to control it with negative ways. And one of those was my eating. I thought, well, if I could control it through eating, then hopefully it would suppress. And it was just an awful way to kind of control it. And suddenly I realised what I was doing, and it wasn't, my thing, thankfully, wasn't that extreme. It was occasional. And my amazing, beautiful wife once heard me and said, what were you doing? And I said, well, you know, I wasn't doing anything. I lied, and I said I'm not doing anything. And she said, look, Jamie, whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, I'm here to talk. And I just feel sorry for you. And it was this wake-up call. And suddenly I realised, like, hang on a second, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, this is weird. And that changed my whole perception. That was about, 7 years ago.
So you were making yourself sit at home. But then, I mean, it's a fascinating thing, that, isn't it? Because you share everything, and she's the love of your life. You're about to become parents together. And this was a thing that you were shamed about, and you kept secret from her.
Yeah, I kept it secret from everyone. It was a very hidden secret. Which I think a lot of my mental health that I was suffering was. Look, I was this confident, outgoing, happy-go-lucky person, and then I felt like a fraud a lot of the time because inside I was dealing with these certain things. And, and I think the biggest thing for me is acceptance, right? When I was dealing with anxiety, someone said to me, you have to learn to live with it. And I went, I don't want to live with this. I want it to go. And it was the best piece of advice or the worst piece of advice. The best piece of advice, because when you learn to accept that's your makeup, when we learn to accept that we are anxious or we do have these issues, that's the moment we can get to sort of freedom. And for me, as soon as I started accepting who I was and that I could be anxious, and I wasn't scared of it, that's the moment that I started to feel better. And I just encourage so many people out there who are watching this or who have read my book to reach out, to talk about it, to be open. We've got to be resilient. 100% be resilient, but also vulnerability is cool. We've got to be open about stuff.
Who did you confide in? Because I think that's one of the things where women are so good at chatting to their friends about stuff.
You'll have loads.
Whether they feel ashamed or not, women are very good at being open and being honest. I always say it to my friends, jokes, no judging. That's how we do stuff. Do you think it's because men aren't so great at opening up about their feelings or their mental health? What do you think?
Well, I think it's this, and this is, I hope this doesn't come across as negative, because it shouldn't be, right? And I see it with my wife. Women are really good, and this is good at gossiping with each other in the best way. I see it with my wife. She speaks to her friends about what they eat, what they're wearing, what the weather is, their friends. Guys, we have to find a subject. So if we go to the pub, we have to think, right, we've got to talk about football or business or politics. We have to find a subject. We can't just gossip because we find it awkward, which is so weird. So we don't open up about stuff or talk about stuff because we don't feel comfortable to do it because we're scared of the reaction we're going to get. And actually, with my friends now, I encourage it the whole time. I went on a stag do recently, right? It's where we're drinking, having fun. I went on the stag do and I write about it in the book. And I said to my friends, right, to the guy who was getting married, one of my best friends, I said, right, can we say one thing that how Ollie, my friend, changed our lives, and another memory that you have as a core memory? We went around the circle and we opened up and we spoke about it. There were tears. This is on a stag do. We're in Madrid, right? And it was just an amazing emotional moment between a group of guys. And I think it's really important to have those discussions.
Really fantastic. We obviously saw you on your extraordinary challenge.
Yeah.
Bearing everything.
Yes.
You were broken down into small little pieces, Jamie, but it was so incredible to watch you do it, to watch you battle to pick yourself up every day. And I know it's incredibly inspiring to lots of us here as well. We've got someone I know who wants to come in and talk about how inspiring you've been. Where is he?
Where is he?
Let's bring him in, because, of course, he did his own challenge, and I know that yours certainly getting going. Let's bring our son in.
Oi, oi. It's an ultra marathon, Ben. What is it?
Anything, I think ultra marathon, heading over 40 miles.
Anything over a marathon.
Ends up being an ultra marathon.
It's a lot.
And of course, Sam ended up doing one not long after you.
Yeah.
As well. So
How intense was it?
The best and worst thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh my God.
I called Jay actually halfway through it and went, how do I do this?
And I said, I don't really know. I don't know really. But I tell you what, for me, though, this is actually there was an amazing moment on the third day where I got a that was amazing. On the third day there was this young girl who left a voice note, and she said, "Hi Jamie, I've donated my pocket money." She was 11 years old. You can get through this, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. She said, if you can get through this, I can get through my chemo. And it was one of these things when this young girl is going to suffer for, I don't know how long. God, this angel, I hope she's okay. And I don't know who she is, but I maybe go, if she can get through that, I can get through anything. And it was this incredible moment that uplifted me. It was unbelievable.
Your challenges for two incredibly important charities, of course, and that's the driver. But Sam, I know how brutal it was for you, because I did a little bit of it with you. But knowing that your mate has been so honest along the way has been incredibly inspiring, not just physically, but emotionally. He's been brilliant at talking about his emotions and his own vulnerabilities, hasn't he?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Jay, not many people know this, actually. If I'm ever going through a really, really tough time, obviously I speak to Pete a lot, but Jamie is like my big brother. And has been for years and years and years. So I call Jamie up about everything because he's been through so much that I'm going through myself. And it's almost like my life just follows Jamie's in like an emotional level. And you're one of the best people to give advice that I've genuinely ever met in my life. And some of the wisdom, I've just been watching you from out there, mate. Some of the wisdom he's like says is so profound, and I'm very, very, very lucky to have you in my life.
Can I just say this, but back to Sammy as well. So Sam and I have always had this relationship forever, where wherever we've been dealing with, we're like we can be a ping-pong sort of game against each other. So I can phone up Sam and be like, Sam, I'm having a bit of a tough time. He'll be like, don't worry, buddy, I've got it the same. And so we're always there as like a net for each other, which is like the best kind of friendship to have. I know if I phone up Sam, there is zero judgment. Zero. And
vice versa.
And I think the same, which is amazing.
And to be fair, I've been calling him a lot.
The great thing is, as well, you've got a ready babysitter.
He would never pick
Touchy bit cheek. You could phone him up at the last minute.
You think I'm going to leave my baby with him?
Oh, come on, he's had practice with his sister's little boy.
Let me come on, please.
Let him have a go.
Jamie, it's close. How are we feeling about... Because you've written in the book that you've written the book for your
For my baby,
child.
for my baby.
How are you feeling about baby's arrival?
I'm really scared. It's so intense. So I just passed my test for the second time because anyway, that's another story.
So you're going
my driving test
to drive her to the hospital.
Yeah, because I had to pass it because I lost it because apparently if you go too fast on the roads, that's a problem. Anyway, anyway, I passed it. You don't need a license to have a baby, but you need a license to drive a car. Like, what are you kidding me? It's mad, the whole thing. Yeah, it's amazing.
We are very excited.
You're going to have a lovely Christmas.
You are. I
can't wait.
We might have a little present for him as well.
We
do. You got a present?
Of course we do.
Did you get this yourself? Did you get this? What is it first?
What do you think it is?
Did you go and buy this yourself?
I did. No.
What is
This is a little This Morning baby cry, mate. I love This Morning. And you're part of the family, mate, and we love you so much. And honestly, genuinely though, mate, listening to you outside just then speak about what you're going through and everything, you're going to help so many people, and you are one of the loveliest people I know. I really do mean that, mate. So, yeah, enjoy this, because I know it'll be the first thing you put on.
That's going to be the baby in hospital. I can't wait.
I love it. Excellent.
Thank you. Jamie, thank you for writing the book.
Thank you so much.
It's a hugely important book. Jamie's book, Men Don't Cry, is out now. There's lots of information about and help for eating disorders on our website. And I know, Sam, you've got a film for us in the week, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, I went to Bristol to speak to a group of guys. It's called Talk Club, and I played football with them. And it's guys who are struggling, and you walk onto the pitch and you say what number you're at. And let's say you're at a low number, so maybe like you're a low 3, it's been a tough week. And the aim of the game really is just at the end of the match, hopefully your number's gone up and there's no judgment. You stand in a circle and it's just guys, like what you were just saying, Jay, it's guys talking. And it's so interesting. I won't give too much of it away, but it's the numbers game. It's so simple, but it's the most effective way.
Tangible.
So tangible. It's the most effective way of getting guys talking. And I played the entire game. 1, very unfit. 2, by the end of it, everybody was just buzzing. And there's the core group of guys. It was so beautiful. I cannot wait for it to come out.
Brilliant. That's going to be amazing.
What number are you at the moment?
At the moment, I've seen you 8.
He's peaking.
Yeah. High 8.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.